Hey internet friends, let's imagine for a moment that time travel is a real thing, and you have access to a time machine. Do you use it? And if so, do you travel to the past or the future? And why? Me? Well, I'm blasting back to the past because I have some pressing questions that need answering. One of them being about some books American novelist Ingersoll Lockwood wrote over 100 years ago. Among them, 2 children's books, Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, as well as Little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog BULGE, followed up by the novel The Last President, featuring a character by the name of Pence. Y'all, today's video is a serious case of coincidence lasagna, with layer upon layer of coincidence. A generous helping of time travel and a little sprinkle of prophecy, served up by the first family.
It's a time machine, Napoleon. We bought it online.
Okay, turn it on.
Ingersoll Lockwood's book, Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, details the adventures of a wealthy boy living in Castle Trump. And his journey consists of traveling to Russia, depicting a world within a world, which young Baron explores with his dog BULGE. So, okay, it's just a series of silly coincidences that the main character is named Baron Trump, living in Castle Trump, who goes on an adventure using a guidebook provided by none other than the master of all masters, named Dawn. Just a coincidence, right y'all? Right? Well, that's what I thought, but then I kept looking.
This is what makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor.
Do you know the story about Donald Trump's uncle and former MIT professor John George Trump and his connection to futurist and inventor Nikola Tesla? After Tesla's passing, his possessions were seized by the US government office called the Office of Alien Property, which I know you're probably rolling your eyes at right now because the title sounds crazy, but basically it was established during both world wars. The office seized property that belonged to US enemies, which really doesn't make sense when you put it in this context because Tesla was a naturalized citizen. But anyway, I digress. Tesla's property was handed over about 3 weeks later to a few FBI agents who threw John Trump into the mix, since Uncle Trump had been involved in radar research for the Allies in the Second World War. The United States wanted to make sure that Tesla hadn't been developing anything top secret or sketchy for the enemy at the time of his death. So Uncle Trump looked over those documents and told the FBI there was no need to worry. But what did Uncle Trump really see in Tesla's documents? Were there any fantastic theories he had been working on? Maybe something to aid in, I don't know, a marvelous journey of some sort? Even though John Trump died in 1985, Donald Trump regularly brought up Uncle John in interviews, as well as Uncle John's warnings over nuclear weaponry, saying, "My uncle used to tell me about nuclear before nuclear was nuclear." Which really doesn't make a lot of sense. So why was Donald Trump so cryptic with these statements about his uncle and his warnings? Was he just babbling on, or did he know something? It's been suggested by others that Donald Trump is a time traveler, with his ability to play 4D chess and always seeming to predict his opponent's next move. If you take any of these coincidences or circumstances and you isolate them, they seem meaningless. But did you know that sci-fi classic Back to the Future's Marty McFly's arch nemesis, Biff Tannen, was actually inspired by Donald Trump? Coincidence?
Time travel.
Time travel.
Well, beam me up, Scotty.
To further pique curiosity over Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey, the portrait of Baron in the book series bears some resemblance. If I squint, I can see it. In the present day, the first family's dog is called PATTON, named after General George Patton. General Patton is most famous for winning the Battle of the Bulge. The dog in Lockwood's novels is named BULGE. And yes, I know, we might need a little stretch after that reach, but while we're at it, there's mention of an entrance to the inner earth that lies in the Ural Mountains, mentioned of course in Lockwood's books, which is exciting a lot of folks who subscribe to the hollow earth theory, while making others wonder if this is the real Russian connection the news continues to ramble on about. But I want to know about this world within a world reference within Lockwood's book. A world heavily inhabited by strange beings, rooted in ancient myth. There are several ways we could read into that, like with the hollow earth theory, or we could take a look at other prominent works of the time which explored concepts of the unconscious, or we could draw a parallel to present day. What exists now that is a world within a world? There's no one answer, but certainly the internet would be a world within a world, right? Let's not dwell on that, though. We've got more ground to cover with Lockwood's novel, The Last President. The Last President, referenced in the novel, ran with the vision of uniting the working class to make their nation great once more. Elected in 1896, The Last President's stage is set in New York. And like I said before, it features a cabinet member named Pence, drawing a parallel to our current vice president. But what's even weirder is that even though The Last President was written over 100 years ago, the events taking place within the text are eerily similar to those of today. The novel follows the downfall of the last president, with the major event taking place on a dawnless day, depicting civil unrest that commenced at the Fifth Avenue Hotel in New York, being the first site to feel the fury of the mob. Curiously, Trump Tower is actually located on Fifth Avenue in New York. And just looking to the future, a solar eclipse will occur in a few weeks on August 21st. In some parts of the world, due to the eclipse, will August 21st be a dawnless day? Only time will tell, I guess. We can all keep up with the time by purchasing an Ingersoll pocket watch with Trump right on the packaging. God, it's all so weird, but is it all just a coincidence? That's for you to decide. Let me know your thoughts. I always look forward to your comments. Thank you so much for subscribing and supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye!